I want to understand is, did he doubt paternity?
When I first told him, no ma'am, he didn't say, well, this not my baby, and he didn't say any of that.
But obviously you have Harmony, so you want
And you have other children that need the support. So.
And I paid child support for those two
Oh,
girls.
but not this one. And if you really cared, you would have done it a long time ago. We shouldn't have to come here to take care of that.
An interesting one right here. Two women are in court to determine the paternity of a 1-year-old girl that the defendant claims he didn't father. Miss Valdez-Lark is the fiancée of the defendant, and Miss Pitts is the mother of 1-year-old Harmony. Both who are on different parties, but on the same side in this case. The defendant, Mr. Slater, says he can't be the father because he hasn't slept with Miss Pitts in years. The whole is unspecified.
There's no way you are Harmony's father because you have not had sexual contact with Miss Pitt in years.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Valdez-Lark, the fiancée, is writing on the results because her engagement is on the line. She reveals how she first found out about the pregnancy. Mr. Slater and Miss Pitts' daughter called her asking for her father, who wasn't around, and eventually she gave the phone to her mom, who spoke to Valdez-Lark and told her she was pregnant by Mr. Slater. She didn't want to believe and wait till he got home to investigate. Well, he denied it at all as everything.
Get in contact with Mr. Slater. So, like I told her, I will call you back. Let me get in touch with him. So I called him to get him home so we can continue the conversation because I wasn't going to continue the conversation without him.
Miss Pitts reveals that she wanted to give her daughter up for adoption. And for the process like that, you need the father's signature on it. And that was the reason why she was reaching out to him. When they finally got in contact, she told Miss Valdez-Lark about the relationship they've been having since May 2012. She even revealed that when she first told him that she's pregnant, he didn't doubt her or anything. But that is obviously part of his plan, too.
I want to understand is, did he doubt paternity?
When I first told him, no ma'am, he didn't say, well, this not my baby, and he didn't say any of that.
But obviously you have Harmony, so you want...
She eventually didn't go through with the adoption because her husband and her family members stopped her. It's very noticeable that the defendant, Mr. Slater, has been awfully quiet throughout the case. He later says he doesn't believe he's the father because he hasn't had sex with her in years. He keeps smirking, which obviously means he's not taking the case seriously enough, or worse yet, he's lying. He says that Miss Pitts is obsessed with her, and that's why she's chasing him everywhere.
Window of conception.
Yes, and she'll slip.
I'm
Okay,
a slave.
let's be respectful.
You ain't saying that we was just
feel
in my
like
bed.
let's
I don't want them, baby. You can have what you keep sleeping with.
Miss Valdez-Lark says this is the last straw for her, and she's done with him immediately after the results come out. She believes Miss Pitts because the defendant's story is not adding up, and the baby looks a little like the defendant's mother.
And I was so grateful that she sent it to me because when I got the picture, I told him the baby resembled his mother. He still denied. Even his sister now, you crazy, you think that baby look like our mom. That baby
I
look
just
like
talked to his
our
sister
mom.
last night. You're on his
But she
sister.
say that all the time. Yeah, baby, she said, oh, that baby.
If you can only deny everything without really adding something substantial to a case, you're probably lying, or at least not being completely truthful. Miss Pitts says that since she was pregnant till the baby was born, he hasn't helped her in any way but to disappear when you most need him. The only people who helped her are her husband and her sister. Even in the courtroom, he's not being useful.
Slept with her in recent past.
You're right, Your Honor.
How long has it been since you slept with Miss Pitts?
I can't remember.
Look at me in my face when you testifying because you know what? Liars
Can't look
look around when they're talking. I'm right.
Another reason why Miss Valdez-Lark believes the defendant is lying is because his eldest daughter, who he shares with Miss Pitts, said to his face in his presence that her father came to her mother's house while he was denying it. At this point, both women are done with him because he's not worth the time and energy at all.
Guys, there's something in this courtroom. The first thing out your mouth is she's a lie. Now I'm starting to believe you the lie. Now you You're gonna have to come up with some testimony in here that makes some sense. Because every time I
Both of them are done with him and just need the results to make the final stamp for them. Judge Lake decides to read the results.
Mr. Slater, you are her father.
Two women are in court to prove Mr. Trevino is the father of their children. Miss Jones says Mr. Trevino is denying her daughter because of Miss Hernandez. Miss Hernandez says the same thing about Mr. Trevino. Just at the start, it's very obvious that there's one bad guy involved, and it's Mr. Trevino. Judge Lake calls him in almost immediately after reading the testimony.
You know what? Jerome, I'm ready to see Mr. Trevino right now. We just gonna do it like that.
Miss Jones says that he picks and chooses times to deny and support her daughter, and he does it so frequently that he isn't even there for her at all. He always uses infidelity claims as his trophy reason to stay out of her daughter's life. Mr. Trevino says the reason why he has doubts is because of the dates of conception. He even brought a calendar and said according to the conception dates, he didn't have sex with her during the window. Miss Jones denies those claims and says the man doesn't remember anything.
I don't remember nothing because he's the charmer. I was always intimate when he wanted.
Now you don't remember.
When he wanted to be intimate. I know it was the springtime. I don't keep track of when I was intimate with you because you probably keep track of all the women that you were intimate with.
So it's clear this man is like poison now, charming women till they forget what they're doing. Well, there's babies here now. Somebody's gonna have to step up. Trevino is the type of person to hold on to the little things instead of seeing the bigger picture. AKA, the type of person who uses angry words as an excuse to run away and say it's your problem. No wonder many women always say he's their baby's father. He never takes anything serious.
Been doing this for you and been doing that for you. You know, I kind of put it out there that, you know what I'm saying, I deserve some gratitude. You know, and she said,
Your Honor.
I said, you know what, I've been doing all this for you and the baby, and
we
she's
were
probably not
driving
even
down the
mine. And
street.
she says,
He was
matter
helping me
of fact, she's not yours.
Oh, and it felt.
And there comes the infidelity claims. He accuses Miss Jones of club hopping and sleeping around when he's clearly doing the same. My God, the hypocrisy. He says when they started talking, she revealed secrets about herself. Secrets he thought would be okay to reveal to the court. But Miss Jones clears him and says they're not here for him, but for her baby girl. But when she comes for him, you can smell the hypocrisy everywhere.
I work hard to provide.
Work hard. Work hard. Work hard.
What do
I
you
bet
call
your
it?
back is in perfect condition because you work so hard. Work, right? How many kids do you have?
Look, listen, we're here about one thing.
Exactly.
We're here about Cheryl.
So,
we're here to find out.
exactly.
We're here to find out the truth.
Miss Jones says Miss Hernandez is stopping and is getting in the way of her daughter getting a father. Basically a moth to a flame to the obvious lack of responsibility and ugly narcissism of Mr. Trevino. Well, Miss Hernandez also feels the same way and says that Miss Jones is also stopping him from being a father to her son. This is getting ridiculous.
Your child.
Yes.
It's a cycle. Think about it.
My
If he's
son
denying my
looks a
child,
lot
he
more
denies
like him than
yours.
your daughter does.
But the point is, we got the proof today, and
Yeah, we
he's
do.
gonna take
Yeah,
care
we
of
do.
my child.
Yeah.
And I hope he continues to take care of your child.
Well,
because
if
it's
he-
only
The reason Mr. Trevino has doubts about Miss Hernandez's son is the most narcissistic I've ever heard. He says that when he's home, she never puts on makeup, but when he's going out, that's when she decides to look pretty. He's doubtful of the child's paternity because the child's mother doesn't look pretty for him.
Went off to work and she's over here straightening her hair and putting on makeup. Why don't you do that while I'm there? You should be doing that for me, not when I'm on my way to work. You know, and I'm on my way to work, I'm leaving and the guy's coming over, and when I'm getting home from
They're
work,
coming over
they're
for my
leaving.
brothers, not coming.
It's very obvious I'm not a very big fan of Mr. Trevino. Even Miss Hernandez's brothers aren't. So I want you to listen to this. He's staying at Miss Hernandez's mother's house, and her brothers also live there. And the guys who come around are her brother's friends. He even suspected one of the men and says her son even looks like one of them. But definite proof? None. Well, thank goodness he admits he has trust issues, because I was thinking the narcissistic route.
And they said this and said that, so I'm kind of scarred. It's kind of hard for me to trust a woman and what she said. You understand? It's hard for me to trust anybody.
So you're admitting that you have some
trust
trust issues.
I got some trust issues. I'm a bit paranoid, you know, because it's hard for me to trust. And around the time that she did,
He then accuses Miss Hernandez of the same thing he accuses Miss Jones for. The same infidelity claims that he can't prove. Are we sensing a cycle here? It's like Judge Lake is also tired of the back and forth, and she asks if he's supporting the children. He claims he is. I mean, would he even deny it? But Miss Jones is giving him some serious side-eye.
and you have other children that need the support. So,
and I paid child support for those two
oh,
girls.
but not this one. And if you really cared, you would have done it a long time ago. We shouldn't have to come here to take care of
We're
that.
here for the DNA.
I mean, 2 years is a long time though. The back and forth must have been exhausting. Judge Lake gives Miss Jones some advice and proceeds to read the paternity results for Miss Jones's daughter.
You are her father.
Now, I need the help. So it's documented.
You could see the look in her face that she knew that that would be the result. Good for her and her daughter though. Now it's time for Miss Hernandez's son's paternity.
Mr. Trevino, you are the father.
Can I tell you?